This video is about escaping from emotional spending. How can you achieve this? This is only one answer. The answer itself is already self-explanatory. We must not be emotional. In reality, this will be difficult to perform and get rid of. This is why the strategies will take time. This is a strategy of mindfulness. Mindfulness is a principle of philosophy and Buddhist teaching. But what if you're not a Buddhist? What if you're an atheist or a Christian? In this video, the usage of the term mindfulness is not under the guidance of Buddha, but rather its own independent ideologies. It's simply the definitions of the opposite of being emotional. The reason why I mentioned that mindfulness is not correlated with Buddhism is because of two reasons. The first reason is that I am just a beginner follower of Buddhism and not just declare any teaching to other and will not declare any teaching to other. The second reason is that since mindfulness is an ideology of its own, everyone can learn from it. Not only that, everyone should learn from it. With this being mentioned, how can we be mindful? To achieve mindfulness, we must know where the roots of becoming too emotional come from for us to overspend. It's our stress levels from the exterior influence of our environment. If we realize this is the case, we must fix it first before anything else. The reality is that this is not simple. We can never entirely eliminate stress from our life because we need it to grow. We cannot run away from responsibility of life. However, we must detach from it. For us to spend money, we must go to work for money. Thus, working is a big part of our life. Many stressful moments will result from this. We cannot avoid it either because it will repeat constantly every time we have to show up for work. We cannot control these factors. However, everyone needs to go home at the end of the day. This is where mindfulness matters the most. Although mindfulness should matter everywhere you go and do. Why mindfulness matters the most at home is because of coping. The average person copes by consuming something. This is the root of every habit and addictions. This is where emotional spending originates from. Here are some examples of emotional spending: purchasing clothes, food, substances, and so on. Now, with this example, are these emotional spending that terrible? These examples are not terrible if you decide to use them once in a while. The reason why I declare this is because we are not monks or nuns. Therefore, it's understandable to let loose once in a while. Here's the catch. We must know that it is only a moment and it needs to end soon. We must detach from the detachments. Failure to do so, it will be damaging in the long run. This is due to the opportunity cost and compound effect. These emotional purchases will seem desirable today. However, they will not be the same many days, months, and years from now. Soon, the people who purchase desirable items for coping will turn them into their hobbies, habits, and eventually addictions. What is addictions? Addictions is defined as a chronic relapsing disorder characterized by compulsive drug seeking and use despite adverse consequences. With this being said, it does not have to be drug for the addictions. As a matter of fact, there are more people addicted to processed food than ever before. Addictions is the desired usage of products even with the signs of consequences. This is when you know you have gone too far into the disconsumptions. This is why your coping styles matter a lot. When experiencing dramatic or stressful moment, the average person will reach for instant satisfaction activities. I might make it sound like it's a bad thing. However, this is not the case. These activities are some of the best way to dull the strong emotion instantly. After the strong emotion has been dulled, we must know when it's the right time to give up. When is it time to receive enough? You may ask, when is it time to receive enough from the instant satisfaction activities? It will take 2 weeks for habits to form. For the major activities, smoking will take way less time to form a habit. This is why we must self-reflect on ourselves and stop the activities before it reached a 2-week mark. One more thing, we must avoid smoking at all costs. It is one of the worst things you can do for your body. We have talked about emotional spending and why it has become a problem for many. It is about the coping styles after a stressful or traumatic experience. Now, we can talk about some ways we can alter the coping style effectively. The coping style heal rather than harm the individual. As I mentioned before, mindfulness is the opposite of emotional spending. Therefore, we must find a coping style that is related to being mindful. When it comes to mindfulness, our breath will be our fundamental and core principle. We must control our breathing, as it is the first thing and the most important thing we do for coping. This is all about meditations. You don't have to be Buddhist to meditate. As a matter of fact, everyone should meditate in this world. It can solve so many problems that many people are dealing with. Now, let's talk about meditations. Many people will assume that meditations is only about sitting down and not thinking about anything. This is far from the truth. Here's the example why. There are many ways to meditate. Also, meditation is not only about thinking. The truth is that you will think many things if you are stretched out. We cannot simply control thinking by sitting down and closing our eyes. There is one thing we can control and should control. We should control our focus. Why is focus so important? Focus is about having a center of activities, attention, and attractions. We cannot mention the words focus without mentioning the words priorities. We need to prioritize progressions and growth. We need to have a purpose to become healthier, wealthier, and wiser every day. The reason why this is so important is because of routines, system, and habits. These principles can result in different ways. It can make you healthier, wealthier, and wiser through the months and years. On the other hand, it can cause the opposite effect if the routines, system, and habits are wrong. There will be always the right and the wrong answer for progressions in life. One example of this is when people smoke a pack of cigarettes a day. This is the wrong answer. The right answer is when people exercise daily for a good health. Knowledge like this is always out there. They are even free. We just have to find this knowledge before it's too late. Routine, system, and habits can have different meanings. However, they do have something in common. They all require consistency and discipline. It's not about repetitions. Some example of this are eating the same kind of healthy food and exercise every day. Investing a small portion of your income every day. Buying a bundle of outfit set every 5 years. So we have the habit of buying clothes every single time. All these examples are a big part of the opportunity cost and then eventually compound effect over the long run. This is why I believe in becoming a minimalistic. We need to research the right answer and perform it for a long time. It might not show any progression at the present moment, but if research shows it work, have faith in yourself that everything will be great in the long run.